On today's episode of RPG Book Club, it takes Sam more than 2 hours to realize that his microphone is not plugged in. Welcome to RPG Book Club, a podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Allman.
I'm Elias, Sailor Eli Warren.
And I'm Maddie Spiffle-Weapon.
And today we'll be playing part 1 of Chapter 2 of Legend of Dragoon, entitled Platinum Shadow. And we'll be stopping on the world map after the boss battle with Lenus. And before we get to all of that, how was everyone's week?
Uneventful. They're offering us a whole heck of a lot of money to as a severance package if we want to leave the company. So I'm a little I was a little stressed out over that, but I talked with my parents about it, and everything is okay. They agree with me that it's probably not the right time to leave, just because of all the stuff going on in my life. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Here's an idea, Eli. You and all the other employees all band together and make a pact to none of you take it. That way the company gets more desperate, so the next time they offer it, it's a bigger deal. And you'll do that like 5 times. It's like basically the prisoner's dilemma, right? You're all just like, no, none of us are taking it. And then while you're at it, it's like, hey, since we're already here, we're already in a group making agreements on things and deciding things together collectively, we could also start making other demands, like going on strike if they don't raise our pay and joining the joining the UAW.
So unionize, basically.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a stealthy way to unionize, so you don't explain it that way, and then later you're like,
and then everyone
looks around and they're like, wait a second. We're in a fucking union?
Are we a union? Yeah.
And you're like, excellent.
Yes.
That's great. I had a week rife with anxiety, but they also were all wins for therapy, because like every time it happened, I was like, oh, this is like the worst thing in the entire world. And then little shoulder brandy would just be like, hey Sam, remember, like, you're a fucking idiot and none of that's real. And I'm like, you're right, none of this is real. Thank you, shoulder brandy.
That's awesome.
Like I was having one anxiety episode where like my brain just wouldn't shut off and it was just going like a mile a minute. So I literally solved the Rubik's Cube in my head, which is half shoulder brandy, but the other half is the other half is Atten Rand from Knights of the Old Republic 2, because to not get brain hacked by Jedis, he's always playing Pizak in his head, so that if they try to read his thoughts, they only ever do Pizak. And I'm like, it's the same thing, just a Rubik's Cube, and not Jedis, just anxiety. But everything else is the exact same.
I'm just going to pretend I'm playing Pong then, because that's the only thing I can picture in my head, puzzle-wise.
If I tried to do that, it would just be that scene from SpongeBob where you look inside Patrick's head and it's just a carton of milk and it tips over.
Yeah, it's kind of how I feel. Like
I also had an astronomically anxiety-filled week, but not because of brain reasons, but because I didn't have a place to live. And finally, after a lot of things falling through and a lot of awfulness, a whopping 8 days before my lease is up, I got a place yesterday.
Yay!
Or on Monday, rather, because today's Wednesday. The guy, I saw the place on Friday, and it was like, so, fun fact, it's hard to look for a place to live. It's even harder when you have A, dog, and B, are going through any kind of interesting transition in your life.
Yeah.
Because it's difficult to know what to do.
Yeah, and how people are going to react to it.
Yeah, so basically, if it didn't say anything specifically about gender, I would just present male, like I say the way I go to work, and I figured that's across the bridge when I get to it situation, because frankly I'm desperate. But a few places were like women only, so I would just send an email and be like, hey, I'm Maddie, and then in that sense it's like, okay, well, when I go to see the place, I make sure I do my aesthetic and I dress up and stuff like that, and then I cross that bridge when I get to it, which is a bit sooner. In this case though, I did the former, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
But I did. I guess I did lie a little bit. But like, I needed a place
For sure.
Yeah.
to live, and the guy seems cool. Anyway, I saw it on Friday, and he said he had a few more people to show it to, and I was like, dude, just give it to me now. Why did you show it to people? Like, come on, I'm chill. Anyway, but he told me he would tell me on Sunday night, and then on Sunday afternoon, I sent him a file he wanted, and he was like, hey, just an update, like, you're probably going to get the place, but I do need to show it to one more person. I'll let you know Sunday night. He did not let me know Sunday night.
Yikes.
But he did let me know Monday morning.
Okay.
So I went by, I paid the rent, I got the keys, and now I have a week to move. So that's like...
That's awesome.
Huge weight off my shoulder. It was affecting everything because it was the only thing I could think about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You should try thinking about a Rubik's Cube.
Seriously.
All I can think about is scrambling it harder. I've never solved a Rubik's Cube in my
if I thought
fucking
about
life.
solving a Rubik's Cube, I would just think about fucking up a Rubik's Cube.
Shit.
And then the other thing in my life is that I'm stupendously astronomically excited about is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate comes out fucking tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And I can't deal. I even told one of my students, I straight up told my student, hey, I don't want to tutor you on Thursday night. I want to play Super Smash Brothers. I still did. But I was like, I wouldn't say that to the parent, but I was joking with the kid. I was like, ugh, I don't want to tutor you tomorrow at 8 p.m. I want to play Super Smash Brothers. So I guess I will. Fine. And the kid was like, this is pretty funny, actually.
I love it.
Anyway, that's my life. Everything is good now, so that's nice.
Yay.
Yeah. So, before we get started, we realized we're having this problem with Xenogears, but Xenogears was dense, and then we realized we were still having this problem with Legend of Dragoon, and it's not dense; it's just better. And the problem is that every single line in the game we kind of want to screenshot and talk about, and so the last 2 weeks we kind of went like recording like 2.5 hours. I cut it down to just over 2 hours both times, but it still was like freakishly long. And so we kind of want to start trimming that bad boy down. So we are going to kind of like how we did with Undertale and just like hit the plot, and then at the end come and plug back in like our favorite of the things we screenshot and moments and stuff. Because especially here in Chapter 2, I think we had one maybe. But Chapter 2 was like 3 different times where you just follow the party to a mundane event and everyone just has like a happy fun time.
Yeah, that's a lot now.
Yeah, it continues to happen till the end of the game, and so it would be like way too much to try and talk about those as they happen. So we'll just be like, and then we had a party, and then after the party, the bad guy showed up, even if you play the party for like 15 minutes. But yeah, we'll get started on that. The other thing is this is dedicated to our sweet babby son, Matt. He joked, he was like, for your last time on, since you finished the whole disc, you should sum up all of disc 1, but you should do it like Dr. Seuss. So here is it's a rough draft. I literally wrote this by the seat of my pants. Do not judge me. Dr. Seuss rhyme.
Sam,
that is
I'm always
disc
judging
1.
you.
I mean, yeah.
I'm never judging you.
Are you wearing a Two Things shirt?
not currently. It is both red and blue. So if you're of the red fandom and the blue fandom,
sounds like two things to me. Anyway, go on.
But now, without further ado, Disc 1 of Legend of Dragoon by Dr. Seuss. Dart was a boy who had just come back home from finding the black monster who made him alone. His parents are dead, and that makes him mad. Life has been hard with no mom and no dad. His village is burning, his girlfriend is gone, but she says she's his sister, but we know what's going on. He runs off to prison and meets a Green Knight. His name is Lavitz, and he joins Dart's fight. They save Shauna from Dole, who has some sort of plan that is not your concern, says the scary cloaked man. Dart gets his ass kicked, so Rose saves the day. She awakens his Dragoon, and we're off on our way. We do some small dungeons, and Dart disses Shauna, but she tells Dart, I mean, you can if you wanna. Lavitz meets his uncle from out of nowhere, but he gets a Dragoon stone, so I guess that's fair. We made it to Lohan, and Shauna gets sick, so we go talk to Shirley for healing real quick. She gives us a stone for a white silver Dragoon, and makes us tell Shauna to get well soon. We fight in a tournament, but Lloyd takes first place. Then Rose knocks Lavitz clean on his face. But Albert's been kidnapped, so the fun times are done. Albert will be killed with the rising of the sun. So we fight Frugal, and he's still not hard, but Lloyd takes the moon gem when we weren't on guard. Lavitz transforms to avenge his king, but he didn't know about Lloyd's special thing. He pulls out a sword that's made out of fire and kills poor Lavitz in front of his sire. It's a really sad scene, but the disc isn't done, so we head off to Gazas for one final dungeon. We fight Kongol again and kill Emperor Dole, and then we set off to find Lloyd, who left for Tibaroa. It's a shitty rhyme for the last one, but literally nothing rhymes with Dole or Tibaroa.
It was an Emily Dickinson rhyme.
Yeah.
You just Emily Dickinson up.
Sam, you're basically 99% better than most jokey irony just for funsies poets because you actually know what a fucking meter is.
Yeah.
The syllables were mostly pretty solid throughout the whole thing. Also, I noticed you on the fly spot changed a few lines to have better syllables. So good job there.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that fucking matters with poetry, okay? Like, no, it's not about the rhyming, it's about the syllables. If you're not going to have good syllables, why are you even doing poetry?
Yeah, and then if you have to break the syllables when reciting it, you, instead of speaking in your meter so everything flows, you kind of break the meter, and that, you know how it goes.
Yeah. And exactly. You add an extra... Yeah, well, that's the thing. You can fix the meter even more when you're saying it out loud.
Yeah.
Like...
yeah, but... Yeah, that comes from practically memorizing Cat in the Hat when Scarlett was like 8 months old. That's the only thing she wanted me to read.
Hey, just remember Kanye West. Everything rhymes with huh.
I was gonna say that bit about the disc not being over reminded me of Persona, where it was like it was a difficult day, but you still have to go to school.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was a very difficult time, but you still had to finish the disc.
But yeah, so now we make it to probably my favorite disc. Like I said, I know I said this about disc 1. Disc 1 has my favorite like JRPG moments in it, but disc 2 has like my favorite Legend of Dragoon moments in it, and it like settles on the like this is a game about 7 fun friends and not necessarily going to a fire palace, ice palace, volcano, forest, sewer, etc.
Whoa, volcano forest.
Yeah, volcano forest.
Oh god.
It's like a forest with a head of trees, like there's a whole bunch of little volcanoes everywhere.
Yeah. Oh god.
You got little ones, you got big ones. Oh no, the Brazilian government is going to cut down all the volcanoes.
I need to put a volcano forest in my text mud now.
New shirt idea. Can't see the forest for the volcanoes. But yeah, so this chapter starts with probably one of my favorite things that a JRPG has ever done. And so you start, and it's an establishing shot of the city, and then everything stops and goes gray, like it's a shot from The Weekenders or Ultimate Spider-Man or something. And then in walks Lloyd, who like looks at the screen and is just like, you know what's up. And then he disappears, and everything goes back in, and it's dope. It's so cool.
Yeah,
yeah, it's neat.
But yeah, so the party arrives, and one of the first things they do is investigate a bridge, which is called the Claire Bridge. And Dart mentions that that's his mom's name, and Haschel says that's his daughter's name. And Rose and Albert bring in science and math to say how it's totally coincidence and not secret plot relevance.
Yeah, Dart is Haschel's grandson. Haschel just got busy real early.
It's just, I just love, they're so dumb. They're like, these people have the same name. I wonder if they're the same.
Yeah,
and now we're just like, no, that's fucking stupid.
It.
Different people have different names. It's fine. Jesus fucking Christ.
Right?
No, there's only like there's a million different names. Everybody has a different name, and like there's nobody who has the same name in the entire world. That's never happened.
You know, actually, I mentioned this because it happens again later. This is the first of at least two scenes in this playthrough where the characters act a little bit genre aware.
Yeah.
So I think maybe Dart and Haschel aren't stupid. Maybe they know that they're in a fucking Japanese role-playing game, and why the fuck would these characters have the same name if there wasn't going to be a twist later where it turns out they're related? So really, they're just being very genre-aware. Like, they're guessing at the plot twist that I would totally have guessed if they hadn't already guessed it.
Yeah.
So, it's a stupid twist, but they're still guessing it.
Yeah, and I think it's because it's a dumb twist. Because, like, spoilers, that's the twist.
Wait, seriously? Oh, yeah. I thought that was just a joke and that's not the twist. No. That's so fucking stupid.
It's so stupid. but it's like they
Wow,
know
spoilers.
They know it's stupid, and they want to get through with that, and so they almost never like treat it as an actual twist when it comes around. It's just like, oh yeah, that's a thing that happens. So can we get back to saving the universe and stuff? And yeah, this game does a lot of like letting you in on twists before the characters know about it, and I think this was one of those where it's like why would they bring it up if it wasn't?
Yeah,
just that?
Yeah. I kind of assumed it was going to happen.
I honestly thought it was just to be funny. I thought they were like, no, this is not actually a Chekhov gun. This is just a dumb scene, you know.
No, Chekhov pointed the gun at us.
Yeah.
And then the character said, "Are you pointing the gun at us, Chekhov?" And he said, "No, I'm not."
No.
Yeah.
What gun?
Yeah.
There's not a gun here.
Yeah.
It's just a pair of keys.
Yeah.
It's not a gun.
Ooh, keys! Look at the keys! Woo!
But yeah. So I remember that the city had the best track in the game, and Bale's track being number 2. But it's actually the same song, but it fits this city way better than Bale. And that's why I remember it with this city, not necessarily Bale. You also are in Bale for like a scene in disc 1, and you're in Fletz for like a year and a half on this disc. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about the music.
Weird Fletz, but okay.
Yeah. So, Eli, did you have anything else to say?
No, I was just saying I had forgotten that was the music in Bale as well.
Yeah, because it just fits here so good.
Yeah, Ken kept commenting about the Caribbean theme.
Yeah. But yeah, so you get control of the party, and you learn that Princess Emile is coming of age soon, so you run into her, of course, and she's a total bitch, like capital letters, underscored bitch. And everyone is terrified of her. Like, when they hear these coming, there's people that are like, no, seriously, today was going so good, I didn't want to ruin my day.
Oh, God damn it.
And so she comes down from her castle basically just to tell everyone that they suck and that they bore her and they should worship her for being great. And then she leaves. And I'm just like, that's cool.
Goals.
I was like, well, clearly there's something up with her because everybody's talking about how wonderful she is. And then she comes along and does that shit.
Yeah. And then Albert even thinks that something's up because he's like, no, her reputation as being the nicest and sweetest. What even is this? And what is this is obviously things we'll get to in two and a half dungeons.
And all the NPCs are just like, she's so different. It's almost as if she's become another person.
But yeah, so we investigate the town, asking about Loib, and we're pointed towards Fester, a dude who knows a lot about the moon that never sets, and the Black Monster, who's a resident astronomer. We go to visit him at night, and the city looks...
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just going to say, that's a name I have never heard outside of the Addams Family. So it's really weird that there was someone named Fester here.
I watched Gunsmoke a lot with my dad, and there's a main character of Gunsmoke named Fester.
Oh, okay.
So here's the thing. On one hand, Fester is a word, and it's a gross word. Why name someone such a gross word? But maybe the translators didn't know that. Maybe they were just... It's Legend of Dragoon, right? So they just got Lester, and they changed the L to an F. Because that is 100% the naming convention in this fucking game.
Well, no, you see, you either take a B and remove a line, or an L and turn it upside down and add the line. That's how it works. But yeah. So we get to see Fletz at night, which has its own pre-render, and it's so pretty. And different doors are open and not open. It's cool as hell. Yeah, it's so cool. Like, it's not a true day or night system, because you go there nighttime twice for plot reasons, and then you can never unlock the night ones ever again. But it's still dope. But yeah, so Fester lets us in on some of the mythology of the game. The moon that never sets does not move at all, day or night, but once every 108 years it glows red, and a moonchild descends on the world to fill it with bliss. But what actually happens is the Black Monster comes and wreaks havoc on the world instead, killing the moonchild in the process. And yeah, so then we spend the night in what I called a vegan's house, because everything is about we just gotta get back to the natural order of things. And it reminded me so much of Summer watches a lot of vegan people on YouTube, because it's mostly cooking and stuff, and Summer's vegetarian, and vegans are where it's at for vegetarian food. And so she'll be watching, and then sometimes she'll just stop and be like, yeah, like my aura was just like really off today, and I was just like, no, not for me. And that was this person here.
And Albert is extremely about it. Albert's like, let's talk literally all night about conservationism. Yeah. I'm a politician and want to hear your thoughts. And I'm like, Albert, okay, you're not Lavitz, but you are a sweetie.
Yeah. He's hot, so it's okay.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of hotties in this chapter.
But yeah, so we still don't find anything out about who Loib is or where he's at, so we decide towards the other town in the country, and we head out towards Donau, the flower city. It has its own music, and it's super good.
Whips, and the town is beautiful.
Yeah.
They're doing that thing with 300 backgrounds where everything is kind of just like moving a little bit. You know what I mean? Like all the flowers are swaying back and forth. Just like just 2 or 3 frames of animation. Just a tiny little bit of animation, of sparkle, of shimmer. Mm-hmm. It's awesome.
It's good. But
there's little bees.
Yeah, before we actually get there, we do go through a short canyon dungeon, quote unquote dungeon pathway, filled with bandits that are known as the Garrick Gang, and we fight them in a boss fight, and even though we win, they still steal our Red Dragoon spirit. There's a really cool shot when it happens. You can see Rose's face and just be like, "God damn it, Dart, you have one fucking job." And she's like running across to stab the bandit, and it's super good. Rose's in-game cutscenes are probably the best. She looks so good.
Yeah, she's very expressive. Man, okay, I gotta say, fuck you, Dart, because not only does he send the plot in whatever direction it goes, from a gameplay standpoint, this is the worst fucking shit.
Yeah.
I hate it. Because it's not just that he can't go into Dragoon form, you can't do the whole, like,
can't do
three times Dragoon form combo bob thing, which is the only way I'm ever going to get a full combo with anybody on the fucking rotating meter thing. And it's bullshit, and I hate Mark. I hate Dart.
Yeah, it's super bad. But, it's interesting that this happens. I don't feel we got used enough. Like, I maybe would have done this a little later in the disc, so it's like you think everything is going fine instead of this being the first boss fight of the disc.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Like, because it sucks now, but I feel it would have been like more thematically sucky. But I guess
it goes on for a long time. This portion, the whole Dart no Dragoon part, goes on for the this week's entire play.
Yeah,
I would have expected like a dungeon, you know.
Yeah. But, stupid Dart. So then we finally get to Donau, and we're treated to a flashback where we see Loib not tolerating banditry and saving this girl named Week, whose subtitle is The Third Sister of Mil Sesso. I don't know if it's Sesso. I've always said Sesso. Looking at it now, it's definitely Seesaw, but I'm not going to say Millie Seesaw all day.
No, I was saying Sesso.
Yeah, Sesso, Seesaw, but it's stupid made up words, aka Legend of Dragoon. But all around the town are bandits who act like they own the place. Like, you go into the item shop and he's like, one of them is like, "Oh, well, thank you for giving me everything that you have," or whatever. And you go and you talk to the guy, and he literally sells like a T-shirt, and that's all he sells at the armor shop because the bandits took it all. And so we run into this girl who says that her husband left town this morning, and to go and ask the bandits to leave because apparently that would work. And
can you please leave, please?
And so the husband, whose name is Len, is the mayor's son. So we talked to the mayor about it, and he tells us that the gang takes residence in the Valley of Corrupted Gravity, and it's totally normal. This is definitely like Disc 4 shit hit the fan dungeon, but you get it right here in the early part of Disc 2.
Also, it's just like everyone's so nonchalant. They're like, gravity doesn't work. It's a abstract like void of blackness. It's over there.
Yeah.
It's over there on the other side of the mountain. Yeah, it's no big deal.
No big deal. And so we're like, all right, well, we got to go, and we have to go to the king to get like a passport or some shit. And so when we're heading off, we see this girl who her own theme is a shenanigans theme, so she's already the best character.
She's great.
And her name is Maru, and she flattened some dudes for looking at her funny, and we're like, oh, hey, like, what's up, girl with blue hair? And she's like, I was going to go to the valley so that I can beat up all of these bandits, so let me come with you and we can beat them up together. And she fights with a hammer. She has the fastest speed in the game, second highest magic attack, has healing Dragoon magic, and doesn't fight with a bow, so she has additions. So she's great. She's the better Shauna, like 100%. Shauna can be benched for Maru for the rest of the game. But yeah, so we head back to Fletz to get it, but the guards won't let us into the castle unless someone vouches for us. So we go to Fester, who gets us in because he's the princess's tutor. And then the king also mentions that Len came just the other day to get into the valley, and as long as we know the risks, he's okay with it. And it was like yes, I know JRPGs have a lot of like, go to this guy and get the item, and then come back here, and then you can go to talk to this guy to finally get through the door, and it's like dumb. But this is like the most egregiously dumb way to get into the thing. It's like you can make it all the way to the valley to talk to the guy, and he's like, oh hey, you need to go all the way back to the castle through an entire dungeon to go and get one thing to come back. And it just
well, and usually that kind of thing happens. It's like because like, you know, the game secretly needed to invent a reason for you to go back to the town because something else is going to happen in the town, but nothing even happens in the town.
No, you just get the thing. I think
really
there's
dumb.
I think there's a small scene where Fester like tells us something, and this actually.
Oh right, no, yeah, Fester gives you the runaround for like fucking 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, so I put my notes out of order, so you don't head back right away. This is where you get the runaround for 10 minutes. So he lets you stay the night, and while you're looking around the castle, Princess Lisa, who can read the future, sends her maid to bring Albert to her. And since she knew she would be there, and we were like, whoa, she must be psychic, because she knew Albert was a king, and literally Dart calls him Your Majesty all the fucking time.
And he wears his fucking king regalia.
Yeah. Yeah, it's dumb. But we're like, oh, she must be magic. So we go to talk to her, and we learned that about 6 months ago, Princess Emile was the super nice person, but she apparently was an extra on the last episode of Full House, so she fell off her horse, had a horse riding accident, and now she's starting to act like a different person. And so Lisa wants us to figure out what Emile's deal is, and she knows that she has something to do with the Garrick gang, so we and wants us to go investigate the valley. So like we were already going to, but thanks. So she says that the stars also told her to not hand over the moon dagger, which is the MacGuffin for this chapter, and so we know that Loib is involved somehow. So now this is no longer a side quest to get Dart's thing back. This is our main quest now. Mm-hmm. So we head off to the valley, which is one of my favorite dungeons of the game. It's usually what I think of when I think of this game. What did you guys think about it?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
This is the one with all the floating rocks and stuff.
Yeah, and the upside down.
Yeah. So the corrupted gravity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was very interesting. It took me a little bit to figure out what was going on with the how to get through, but I realized corrupted gravity. Okay, I've got to go upside down.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But it was a very interesting design, especially for so early in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, this is some Final Disc shit. I didn't love it as much as the dungeons from the Disc 1 so far. It looked cool as hell, obviously, and the music was tight. But the it didn't actually have any kind of like. I was so impressed by the first disc how every dungeon had all these funny little gimmicks. Little puzzles, little water slides, little this and that. This one didn't have any of that. It looked cool, but it was really just a series of nodes and branches.
Yeah.
That was it. And you hit all the nodes and branches, try to get all the treasure, continue on your merry way. It looked cool, but the game had already set a high bar, and this was just like most Final Fantasy dungeons. It looked cool, and it was a quote-unquote maze but it did that thing, ladder disc Final Fantasy dungeon thing where, like, because of the gravity and because of the floating rocks, where you jump on a floating rock and you don't know where it's going to go, it's a maze where you can't actually see the geometry of the maze.
Yeah.
So normally with a maze, you kind of look and you're like, well, this path's going north and this path's going south. But in this case, you come to a rock and you can either hit a gravity thingy or jump on another rock. And it's completely arbitrary which one you pick, because you have no idea whether, like, your sense of direction, like, you can't be like, oh, well, this one's going to go closer to the exit. No, you don't know.
Yeah.
So you just pick one. Yeah. And if it doesn't go to the treasure chest, then you backtrack and go to the one that takes you to the treasure chest, right?
Yeah.
I did like one thing. Well, like/dislike. You have to go a long time without getting to a shop.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because I'm on Team Shauna.
Yeah.
And Team Shauna requires me to be able to purchase items and restock my shit.
Yeah.
And after I got to the end of this dungeon, I was thinking, okay, this game always has the shop owner show up in the middle of places where he shouldn't be. Surely the shop owner will show up.
Nope.
And he didn't. And I'm like, I don't want to backtrack through 3 fucking dungeons to go to the town to buy some more items. So I was roughing it. But they do put the Firefly healers, one in each dungeon. And here's what I like. I like that the healing Fireflies are not put right next to the save point.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's a very minor thing, but I really like it. Because you get healed, but you still haven't gotten to the save point. So there's still tension.
Yeah.
And later, when you do get to the save point, if you save and then want to heal as well so that you're healed and saved, you have to backtrack to heal and then come back. Point is, you can never save with, like, full health.
Yeah.
Which is, again, it's minor, but it's actually really, really, really nice.
Yeah. Well, my favorite thing about it is just the aesthetics and the music and the feeling of being lost. But it's not a good lost, like you said. But I really enjoyed it anyways. But so along the way, Rose says that the gravity is messed up because of all of the magic fighting in the Dragon campaign. So it's literally like magic nuclear fallout, which is dope.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love that, like, it happened so long ago that people literally are just like, oh yeah, that big swirling vortex of terror on the mountain there. Like, whatever. That's just how science works over there.
Yep. You do.
So the boss is a Virage, but it's complete, has both legs, both arms, and some wings. Is a pretty great boss fight. If you're on Team Shauna or Team Rose or Team Maru, you blow up both arms with a single magic item, and then the real thing's super easy. But what did you think about your first full Virage?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, I think it was Dart who immediately got squished. But I mean, I killed the arm afterwards, and then it wasn't a problem from then on. By the time he regenerated his arm, I got I had gotten the final blow apparently, and then he regenerated, and then Dart went in and did his little cutscene.
Yeah, that happened to me too.
Me too. But it makes me wonder if it's like the turn timing, or if the cutscene it's not like fully in engine. It's just like this is the model that is rigged.
Yeah, that makes
so it has to have the arms back for continuity reasons.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that explanation. That makes sense actually, since it happened to all 3 of us.
Yeah.
I figured it was just timing. Like, also it's funny, like, oh, they accidentally for some reason programmed it where the regenerating arm happens before the end of battle happens.
Yeah. So at the end of the fight, Rose finally is like, Shauna, literally, what the fuck are you doing? Because she Kamehamehas the barrage off of the rocks again. And Rose is like, something is wrong, and I don't think it's just the fact that you have a Dragoon spirit, so I'm watching you. And we continue on without a bit huge hullabaloo. This is one of those scenes where we can talk to everybody, but it's all thematic and character there. But we make it to the home of Giganto, which is where the Garrics are holed up. And did you get the Bandits ring in this dungeon?
Yes, it whips.
Yeah.
You can, if you're playing with Albert, you can give it to him, and then he starts to not suck, because instead of going like once every 3 turns, he goes faster than Dart, and he hits like a truck. So
that's smart.
That thing's pretty great. You also can give it to the guy you get at the end of this dungeon to make him really great.
Oh.
Or you can be like me and give it to Maru and literally just watch Maru take 4 turns in a row.
See, I've been playing the Dragon Quest style of party design where you make your main... You don't try to have 3 balanced party members. You try to make your main person insanely fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave it to Dart, because Dart does the most damage of anyone in my party. So so giving him speed up as well, he's just like wham, bam, wham, bam. It's great.
It's good. But at the far end of the place, we run into the Garrics, and we get in a boss fight with a bandit that practices the Rouge art, and Haschel is definitely not cool with that. So after that boss fight, Haschel asks them how they know the style and if they know Claire, but they say that Garrick taught him, and Haschel's like, oh, Garrick's probably a fake name for my old disciple, and we go to head off to bust his head in, and Haschel shows off that he is in fact Master Roshi, and like kicks an entire giant stone door down.
It's great.
And when we get in, Haschel complains about arthritis or some old man disease and asks us to leave him behind. And Maru's like, oh, well, I'll stay and watch over him. But as soon as we leave, he knocks Maru the fuck out and runs off by himself.
He fucking clocks her.
And they're like best friends. You've seen it a little bit now, but like throughout the game, like it's always like I think it was at the feast where that happened earlier. I don't know if that happened earlier or happens later.
Yes, it happened earlier.
Okay, so yeah, but when they're at the feast, everyone's like, oh cool. They're like giving us a party, and Maru and Haschel are both just like, oh my god, so much food. I wonder what we can get. And so Haschel feels really bad that he knocks the fuck out of Maru.
Didn't they complained too that they didn't get anything to eat because fucking Emil took it all?
Yeah.
Also, I gotta say, I admire. It's so cheesy and dopey, but I admire this game not giving a shit how contrived its excuses are to split the party up.
Yeah.
A million times into this disc, they're just like, hey guys, how about we wait outside while y'all do something? And I'm like, huh. 4 of the party members sure just have convenient excuses to leave for no reason. I wonder why that is. And it's just like, and it's always for some stupid gameplay reason. It's just like, oh, we need these characters we need Garrick to be in the party for the next cutscene. It's like super, super transparent, but they're like, whatever, we don't give a fuck, who cares?
Yeah, it's good. So we see Mappy, the bandit that stole our stone, and Garrick talking, and Mappy's like, let's kill Len because, quote, that girl in the palace will help them out. And Garrick is like, yeah, I just want to live free, die hard, and just like live by the fist, you know? And so I don't even care about your palace or whatever. And and Haschel walks in, and it is like, well, if you want to live free by the fist, then like, why are you a bandit and all this bullshit? I'm gonna fight you. And Garrick's like, you don't understand me, Dad. And they're not related, but it's definitely just like, you didn't understand. You had too many rules. I couldn't live under your house anymore. But
you're not my real dad.
Yeah, and so he challenges Haschel to a boss fight, which of course Dart and company show up just in time to accept. And
that's fair.
At the end of the fight, Haschel knocks Garrick into next week, just like throws him across the entire fucking room.
Absolutely kicks the shit out of him. It's really
into a load-bearing post, and so the roof caves in, and we are in fact saved by Kongol, and he is our 7th party member. I know what you're thinking. You're like, but wait, who's Miranda? And yes, but yes, we get Kongol. He's my favorite party member. He's definitely like we were talking in the Discord the other day. It's like, why not just make 6 Dragoons so that your elemental pairs all line up and you don't have an extra party member? But I'm like, fuck you, Kongol is awesome. So he hits like a truck filled with other trucks is what I put in my notes.
Nice.
And he's great. So After the fight, he says that the humans killed all of the Gigantos except for him, and he had joined Dole at an early age because Dole promised equality for all species, but it was just a bait to get a giant on his team. And since Dart was more powerful than Dole and also more powerful than Kongol is like, well, me go with you now. And Maru also says that there's some sort of magnetism about Dart that makes her want to stick with us, so she joins forever now, which it's the Dragoon spirits.
Yeah. Whoa.
It's like there's
what a
been
shock.
It's like there's been talk of like fate and destiny and teamwork from the beginning of the game or something. But
I was going to say that she was just in love with Dart because he's hot.
I mean, yes.
She is like, with Dart
but
hot.
Seriously, is no one looking at these jeans? Like, look how tight his jeans are. I have to go with it.
That one sleeve look is just so good.
He's just got ass for days.
So, Garrick's final words are to tell us that Princess Emile is a fake and that the real princess is hidden in the castle somewhere. So we grab Len and our red Dragoon spirit, and we head off to the castle to see what's up. On the way,
got a Dragoon spirit,
right? After both dungeons we played this time, we finally get the Dragoon spirit. I hope it's okay because the hard boss fight is coming up, but you still had like 6 boss fights where you just had to audition with Dart. But so on the way, you can stop in Donau for a wedding. Did you guys go to the wedding?
I didn't. I should have. I was in a hurry to finish my shit for the week.
Too.
And damn, that's so too bad. That explains it. Because he's like, our wedding's gonna be tomorrow, and I'm like, a little hasty. But obviously, I should have realized. Oh, the game is telling me that I should go watch the wedding. Duh.
But
and I so it's I probably missed it now, right?
Ain't nobody got time for that shit. Sorry.
We go back to Donau here when we start the next episode. So maybe it'll happen then for you, but it might have been a missable. But I put in my notes, I was like, I wonder what their celebrity name will be. It'll probably be Lynn Kate or Clin. I have no idea any other way to put Kate and Lynn together.
Late.
Caitlin?
Just in case you can't see it, the only cute bit that happens really is Shauna catches the bouquet, which is cool. But other than that, it's just wedding shit. So
and she's like, "Look, Dart, I caught the bouquet," and he's like, "What?"
also, you know what's a flex? Scheduling your wedding on Coronation Day. It's just like,
damn.
It's just like, look, who do you love who do you love more, me or your country? So you have to pick. Come to my wedding or go to the coronation.
Well, especially because the bandits end up taking over the coronation. So all the normal people who can't go to who can't go to coronation, it's like, well, I guess we'll go to this people's wedding we don't even know,
right? So when we get in Fletz, everyone's like, yeah, the coronation started, but all of the guard has now been replaced with a bunch of knights, and they're all the bandits. Then they've joined recently, and they're attending to Emile directly. So we can't go check on them because the quote unquote knights are just like, no, you have to get somebody with higher clearance. So you go through the guards, you go through the little sneaky dungeon to get Lisa, and you're like, Lisa has clearance, and he's like, no, you have to have something else. And so the whole shtick of this half dungeon is stealth and trying to get through to get more ways to go and stop the thing. But we make our way to Emile's bedroom, and it's been ransacked. And when we search the place, we get sucked into an alternate reality inside of a painting.
Cool.
And
normal.
In the alternate reality, she's chained to a chair on an island far away from us, and there isn't a way across. Shauna tries to transform into a Dragoon and falls. Rose is like, you've never transformed outside of battle. But also, it probably is nothing because no one can transform in here because of the weird space-time bullshit. And so we find our way across, and we save Emile. And now we can get past all the guards because they think that we have the fake Emile. And so we get inside the throne room, and the coronation is underway, but we object like we're at Kate and Lynn's wedding. And fake Emile is like, oh shit. So she just punches the king, takes the moon dagger, and tries to jump out the window. and we're like, there's nowhere to run, and also we're dragoons, so we're going to kill you. So she transforms into her Slutty Surge Halloween costume and fights us.
She's really hot, but she also definitely is Slutty Surge from Chrono Cross.
She got some sexy polygons.
Yeah, this is a fight that I like. First off, it's super hard, and so I was probably cussing, and that's why my mom came over. This is the fight where my mom came over and made me break my first copy of Legend of Dragoon because she was like, "This is a porno game" because of her fucking outfit.
Oh my god,
that's incredible! Yeah. I like how when she first transforms, you're still in the field map of the throne room, and the characters are relatively zoomed out, so she doesn't take up a lot of screen space. She's pretty small, pretty zoomed out. But still, she transforms, and I'm like, I can tell she's hot. Even though she's like 5 pixels. Like, I'm like, I can't actually see what's going on, but I can tell just from the color splotches, because there's like, the middle of her torso is like a skin-colored color splotch, but then the left and right sides of her torso are like dark armor color splotches. So there's definitely some like mid-boob down the middle thing happening here, which is really hot. And I'm like, hell yeah. I feel like when you're playing these games, it's like your imagination gets turned up to 1,000,000 because like we know the graphics are really bad and low quality or like low detail, low res, but I don't know. It's like I reverted back to when I was a small child, and I'm just like squinting, and I'm like, oh yeah, she's hot. Then it goes into actual battle, and you get a close up, and you're like, yep, it's true.
Yep.
Confirmed. Hotness confirmed.
So yeah, this is our boss fight with Lenus, as foretold, and it's hard as shit.
Oh my god!
I know this is where I stopped on my first because, like I said, my mom broke my disc. I think it's also where I stopped my second and probably third playthroughs because it's just hard as shit, and I would get to it and lose a lot and just be like, I'm going to play something else because I don't want to lose anymore. And what did you guys think about it?
It took me 2 tries on my first attempt. So I use a guide for the boss fights because I don't want to lose. Yeah. I want to know what's coming so that I can be prepared. But I didn't look at the guide that told me you really should have Albert in your party because I'm like, I'm really bad at Albert's additions. I'm just gonna set him aside for now, and I'll take Rose and Kongol because Kongol's a big boy and he'll do lots of damage, and it only he's only got a 1 addition right now, so I'm like guaranteed to hit it. I got the fucking floor wiped with me.
She hits like a truck filled with other trucks.
Yeah, exactly. And like even Congo with his many healths was not enough. So I switched him out for Albert, and then I went and I didn't grind technically, but I got him through enough battles that he had full SP. So that as soon as I got into the fight with Lenus... Oh, I should also mention, I forgot to save before doing the fight with Lenus.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to go through...
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I had to go through all the sneaky shit again with Lisa. And, oh my god, what a pain in the ass that is. Like, those NPCs are way too perceptive. They move... Like, once you get Lisa, it's really interesting. So when you're coming out and you're trying to get back down the tower... there's those 2 NPCs that walk back and forth, and so like they have different paces that they walk at, and I'm trying to time it and I can't time it, and after like 3 or 4 times when you fail it, one of the NPCs just stands in place and doesn't face you.
That's cool, at least.
Yeah, so it's a little it's forgiving, thankfully. So that NPC just had his back to me and I was able to sneak through, but it was so frustrating, but I got through it, and I did save before Lenus again. I also bought some items because I forgot. Like, I started using my items like y'all told me, and then I forgot to get more items.
You're out of items.
I've got the opposite problem now.
So it's a 2-step process, Eli. Step 1, use items. Step 2, purchase items.
I know. I need this intervention.
Although honestly, though, it's true. The item, the chests in the dungeons stopped having nearly as many items. Weirdly enough, like in the previous chapter, you didn't really need to buy them. You're always finding new ones. But in this case, all the chests were like equipment, and a lot of it sucked anyway. So that is a little weird. You have to remember to do that more.
Yeah. So I had Dart, Rose, and Albert. And I went in and I immediately used my special, and I had Albert Rose storm both of his turns, and she kept fucking targeting Albert. I had to res him at least once, and basically just babysit him for the rest of the fight. Like, I used up every single healing item I had bought, just trying to get through it. But, I did finally beat her, and I was just like, oh, thanks, sweet baby Jesus.
Wait, so why does the guard recommend you need Albert there?
The guy Rose Storm, yeah, because it reduces damage you take. And there was
that's the defense buff. That makes a lot of fucking sense.
Yeah, it was super helpful. She was, for a little while, she was getting 2 turns every time I would get 2 of my characters to go, and then she'd get 2 fucking turns in a row.
Damn.
And yeah, it was really frustrating. So, but I got through it. I won.
Nice. It was interesting for me. I didn't have a lot of trouble with it, but I think it's because I'm on Team Shauna. I think I might actually be a little higher leveled than the rest of y'all, because I have to be, because I'm on Team Shauna. So I was rolling Dart, Shauna, Haschel, and that's strictly for one reason. I want to get Shauna leveled up with everyone else. So my team is always Shauna plus whoever is currently the lowest level. And that's it. I stick to it because I want to get them all even, and it's getting there. Anyway, so it was an interesting battle. So the first time I played it, I did remember. So I'm always remembering anytime they allow me to save, I do. So the game does that thing that's sneaky, where the reason Eli didn't save was probably because the cutscene takes you past the save point.
Yeah, and I forgot to go back. I could.
So for me, I'm like, hell no, I'm turning back right now and going back to the save point. So I didn't have like any fucking items at this point. I had no heal. I hadn't had healing items for like 5 hours. Like the whole back half of the Kongol place dungeon, I didn't have any healing items. I was just roughing it and relying on Shauna a lot. Anyway, though, so I didn't have, like, any items, no attack items. Shauna used up all the attack items. I had nothing. And I'm just like, whatever. I just saved. I'll go fucking fight what I'm sure is going to be a boss battle. And yeah, I got wrecked. But then I tried it again, and luckily, even though you're in all this palace stuff and the situation's dire, they do let you backtrack all the way back to the town and go to the town.
Oh, nice.
So I got some items. I got the healing item that does the whole party 50%. They're so cheap. Yeah. I bought like 5 of them.
Yeah, we paid $600 for one last disc, and now they're like $50.
Yep. So I bought 5 of those. I bought some revival items because I hadn't had any revival items for a while.
I think the one we paid $600 for was all HP.
Oh, okay.
These are just 50%.
One annoying thing is the item shop here has light and dark damage items,
and not fire.
But yeah, because fire, it's almost like fire is a more simplistic, lower level, like earlier game item. But now we need them.
Yeah.
So I think I had 1 burnout that I'd had for ages. So I was like, okay, I guess I have 1 burnout. Because usually burnout's what I toss because you're always fucking getting them. Anyway, with all that in mind, I went and tried it a second time, and I had to be careful for sure. But it wasn't too bad, really. I just had to make solid use of the heal, all 50%. I had to make solid use of Shauna's heal spell. I made sure to keep Shauna up. One interesting item in the game is the item that gives you 100 SP. I was like, what's the point of this? Like, I get that shit for free by attacking. The problem is you don't want to attack with Shauna because she sucks ass.
Yeah.
So I would have Shauna use a spell, a magic item, and then if she really needed to be a Dragoon, like now, I would have like Haschel cast use the 100 SP item on her. Now she's at Dragoon level 1, and she can do her spell on her next turn or whatever the fuck. As far as her hitting like a truck, yeah, she does. But luckily, Dart and Haschel have quite a bit of health, and she, unlike the last boss, she was not hitting Shauna every fucking turn. The last boss just loved to hit Shauna, and I'm like, fucking hell. So I probably was a decent bit of luck, but Yeah, I thought it was a nice, reasonable difficulty boss battle, but I probably was over-leveled, and also, even when you're not using Burnout, even when you're not using the opposite element, I've gotten Shauna to the point where she actually is doing some pretty fucking good damage if I can keep her from dying.
Nice.
Which I did, so that was nice. You know what this game could really use, though? This game could really, really, really use a defend another party member action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that would fix so many of the issues I'm having with this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, well, yeah, I mean, I guess, tanking, basically.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. If Haschel or whoever had that, like, maybe you use it on their turn, but that'd be weird because then they wouldn't be able to attack. But maybe like maybe it's like a passive
something
ability. You turn on the passive ability and it's like, 50% of the time he'll take someone else's hit because gosh, that would. It's not just that it would make the game easier. I think it would make the game. I think it would be strategically a good thing to have. I would love to have to think about that and not just be like,
so
it's just a crapshoot. If they decide to attack Shauna a whole bunch, then she's going to die and there's nothing I can do about it.
So you do have Pandemonium, which is our next. That's the word I was looking for. I don't know why next was the word I couldn't find. But our next repeatable magic item is Pandemonium, which tanks for 3 turns.
Wait, what is the description for that thing?
It's really bad on like the summary one when you're going down the list, but if you go into goods, it explains it a little more. But it's something like allows only enemy attack for 3 turns or something. It's super stupid.
That's what that fucking does.
But
God damn it. I was using that, but I wasn't using it right because of the stupid item description being so bad.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Thank you.
But yeah, it'll
Actually,
let you
I think
it.
I had Shauna use it one time, so that explains a lot. I think I had her use it on a previous boss battle, and she kept getting hit, and I was like, God damn you. So it works even on bosses, huh?
I don't know if it works on bosses. I think it says minor enemy, but it would be worth it to try it out.
That's the one. No, I never used that one because it said minor enemy, and I never even thought to use it except on bosses, so yeah.
Yeah, but
I didn't want to waste a turn using something that I figured probably wasn't going to work. But the other 2 reusables are really good.
Yeah, I haven't used items in Legend of Dragoon that aren't potions until this playthrough, so I'm experiencing it with everybody else.
Yeah, the one that just straight up makes an enemy unable to move for 3 turns is awesome, and it doesn't say only works on minor enemies. I actually used it on one boss and it totally worked.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work on most bosses.
Yeah, it's super cool. But there's one we get that I thought was soon, and turns out it is the main plot of Disc 4. So we do not get it till the very end, but it's super great. I can't wait till we get there. But
nice.
Yeah, after
it's a fun fight.
Yeah, after the battle, she says she's going to take the dagger to her love, and we're like, ha ha ha, we already killed Garrick. And she's like, who the fuck is Garrick? I don't even like him. And she's like, not him, my love.
He doesn't even go here.
Yeah. So she jumps out the window and flies off on her magic jetpack thing. And Rose is completely dumbfounded because she's obviously a Wingly, and they're supposed to be dead. And that with that whole dragon campaign thing that she did. So obviously the game is afoot, and with that we save for the week. There's technically a small scene afterwards that says what we're doing next week, but I figured that would just be where we start next week. And yeah. So
that's a good place to start for the next episode.
Yeah. So if you're like me and you're good on Stardust, you can get an Amulet, which doubles your MP, and a War God Sash, which gives you 50% more SP from additions. And if you're not good on Stardust, both of these are only okay. If you're only doing Stardust for the items and not for the ultimate Battle of Ultimate Destiny at the end, the first one that you get that gives you plus 50 HP is probably the best one of the basic items. But yeah, here before we go into our memorable moments, we since we have Kongol, you now can do that side quest that I've been mentioning this whole time, where you can backtrack all the way to Lohan, which is a pretty large backtrack at this place. If you do it from Fletz, it's not horrible. But if, say, you had just got Kongol in Home of Giganto, that's a very big backtrack. But if you backtrack all the way back to Lohan and you go to the canteen guy, he has Kongol's Dragoon Spirit, and you can pick it up now. Or
that's fucking stupid.
His literal last plot point of the entire game, if you haven't found it on accident by then, you get it in like just it's literally on the battle screen where it's like you've won Kongol's final plot battle. You get a healing rain and a Dragoon Spirit. Like, just take it. I don't know how you didn't find this 40 hours ago, but
yeah. Well, that was when I was talking to Sam about it. Yeah, I was like, Sam, oh my god, Kongo joined the party. I'm so happy, but I'm not going to use him until he can become a Dragoon. And he's like, go back to Lohan now. Return to Lindsay Lohan.
I remember the first time I found this. I was on. If you've played this game before, listeners, you know what the fuck you boss fight of Disc 3 is. So I was on the fuck you boss fight, and I couldn't beat it, and I looked up a guide, and they're just like, just let Kongol use his dragon attack. I'm like, wait,
like his what now?
His what? I thought he was going to be our one party member that didn't, because like you can go all the way till the end of the game without him doing it, and no, you can get it right here, and it'll make the rest of it pretty easy and pretty dope. But yeah, I think that's all of the like plot to get through. So now we can open it up to our new section, which in my notes here I didn't have a name by the time I wrote, because quick aside, we knew that these episodes were getting long, and we were like, okay, we can restructure them, but then also we can check and see if, like, instead of sticking to 8 episodes, we can squeeze out a couple episodes. So the only way to do that is if I had played it recently, and I had not played it recently. So I literally watched an entire Let's Play of this game to recut when exactly everything happens and what is, what would be plot. So I wrote all of our notes already, and by the time I wrote 10 of these notes or whatever, I came up with a name, which is Memorable Moments, which is not a great name, but whatever. It doesn't have to be good. If we think of another one over the next 10 episodes, then we'll change it.
Yeah.
But,
Precious moments.
Precious moments. But yeah, this is where we talk about lines, moments, character bits that we like without having to talk about everybody's things. Like, if we really like what Haschel says in a scene, we don't have to set up the whole scene. We don't have to say what anybody says. We can just be like, oh, for instance, there's a scene where Haschel is talking to Garrick, and he says, martial arts is your heart when you hit martial arts is your heart. When you hit, your fist aches and your heart aches, except it seems your heart has forgotten the ache, which is like really cool. But then I know Maddie loved the follow-up thing that Garrick says, which, do you have it handy? Because I have it handy if you don't.
Okay, well, there's a few aspects of it. So first of all, yeah, he says, when your fist aches, your heart aches. And then a little bit later, after you kick Garrick's ass, Haschel goes, Garrick, now I seem to be helping you remember the ache in your heart with my fist.
It immediately made me think of from Xenogears. Take this fist full of memories.
Yeah, so he's like, I'm helping you deal with your shit with my fist. But then there's a follow-up. This is even better. Oh my god. So, right as he's about to die, Garrick says he's dying, and he's like, thank you for, helping me see the light, blah, 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 blah. And then he goes, I'm glad, ... to receive your fist, master. Which is just really inappropriate. Just like phrasing, just really inappropriate.
I'm gonna fist you.
Rated T for teen.
Give me your fist, master.
But then what Haschel says is, shut up, talking makes you die.
Yeah, here's the thing. This translation of this game's translation is not good, objectively.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to be like, it's so bad it's good. Like, it's bad. It's significantly worse than Xenogears. And the reason why is because there's, unlike Xenogears, which you just sort of laugh and make fun of it, this has the Final Fantasy Tactics problem, where sometimes it's bad to the point where you are actually confused about what's happening.
Yeah.
like, if it gets to the point where you're not actually clear on plot points, then that's bad, right? But it's bad in the most endearing way.
Yeah.
I unironically absolutely love it. There's so many great lines, and most of them are because it's straight up bad, but it is... They manage to be bad in a really, really good way, and that does not stop happening. I love it.
Yeah.
The translators definitely tried, but it seems like it was amateur translators who did.
It's the epitome of like that really badly drawn like star that says an attempt was made.
An attempt was made. It was definitely that. Albert's never going to replace Lavitz in my heart. But I find him really endearing already because, I just love how he overanalyzes everything. Like, the whole bit with the two people named Claire and how statistically improbable it is that they would be related. And someone's like, he's just going to keep talking if we don't move on. I'm like,
okay, let's be clear here.
Much.
Let's be clear here, though. He is talking about phrenology in that scene. He's
does.
literally like, let's analyze... Well, I forget, where is it? Cranioscopically speaking, the distance between their skull, eye bones, and also their jaw bones, etc. And, like, the thing is, like, he's literally a king, so that's...
He's talking about their physical appearances, but,
yeah.
I mean, yes, I also see the phrenology thing in there, like...
It's so funny.
Literally a monarch talking about phrenology.
I also really liked when Maru was talking about how much she wants to stay with Dart, and he's just got this magnetic attraction to him, and it makes me want to do things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, all right, Maru, we get it.
You want to do things.
Rose is like, are you seducing him?
Right. So, like that makes me realize how much like sex has stolen passive voice from everybody. Like you're like, yeah, I like to do stuff. It's like, ooh, you like to do stuff, and it's like, no, but I mean, yes.
Well, it's like, the problem is that like we just kept making up more and more and more and more and more innuendo way to say sex, but we did too much. Like we invented so many ways to say sex that now anytime you say any ambiguous phrase, it's like, are you inventing another way to say sex? Because that's what we do now.
Yeah.
There's that, what is it, Whose Line Is It Anyway game that's like obscure euphemisms or something, and they come up with things like fluff your Garfield and shit like that. So,
Did you hear that Garfield is banned from Tumblr now?
Yeah. Everything is banned from Tumblr.
Yeah. Everything is NSFW. No more Tumblr.
Garfield is simply too lewd for Tumblr.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Well, Garfield's terrible, so I'm honestly okay with that. Hot take, Garfield sucks.
Well, duh. But as part of our ironic cultural, our post-ironic, like, cultural consciousness, Garfield is, I think, occupies an important place in it nowadays.
There are people who think Garfield is genuinely good and funny.
Well, like 7-year-olds.
Yeah.
No, there's middle-aged people who love Garfield.
Perhaps.
He said lasagna, guys. Come on.
Oh my god.
But in our
Monday,
generation, it's definitely a weird ironic thing.
I know that South Park is no longer good because of their 2016 season, but they're still reminding me of the early parts of the 2016 season where he's like, come on, say you're funny, say vagina. But for me, it was just like, come on, Garfield, you're funny, say it, lasagna.
well, I mean, that's just a Simpsons bit, right? It's say the line, Bart.
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
Another moment that I really, really liked is when Lenus is like, well, I'm going to get out of here and go be with my love. Rose says, I'm sorry, but you don't have time to be in love anymore because you're going to die here.
I love it. Rose
That's a line that makes sense.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, Rose is the best. I adore her.
Eli, what are your lines, if you got any?
Well, the Maru line and just Albert overanalyzing everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed it.
You shared one about Rose earlier.
Shit. Yeah, let me see.
It's in the host only if you scroll up.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now. Hold on, I'm doing it on my phone so I don't have to.
I'll share a short one while you're looking. This has got to be. I'm not one of those people who thinks everything has to be a fucking reference because not everyone is as reference minded as all the nerds on the internet are. Like arrow to the knee.
Yeah,
you guys remember that when someone thought that the Battle of Wounded Knee was a reference to Skyrim?
That's so funny.
But But at any rate, but this I think is a reference. The man at the item shop says, "Buy something, will ya?"
Yeah.
Which that's gotta be the localizer slipping in a Zelda reference.
Yeah.
All right,
totally.
Eli, what's yours?
So Rose is talking to as Garrick is dying. She's talking to them and about how equality doesn't exist. And she says, "What we have is killing and being killed. That's it." And I said, Rose is Flowey confirmed.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how he's like, yeah, Dole wanted to create a world where all the races are equal. And then Rose is like, yeah, no, only the strongest survive. And I was like, wait, Rose, you're a fascist. Why are you...
I also really liked how you've got this important coronation that you have to go to today, and like you have to be there to prevent Princess Emile from getting this moon dagger. And I'm like, I've got this important thing to do, and it has to be done today. Time to go have a peaceful night's sleep at the inn.
Yep. The game is not even going to try and pretend like ends make sense. They're just like, look, it's a JRPG. Ends don't make sense. We all understand this. You need to heal, right? Get in the fucking... Get in the fucking inn.
They exist in a different time-space continuum.
Yeah.
Exactly. Speaking of that section, actually, the second point in this game where they lampshade something to hide how stupid it is the first time is with the plot twist with Claire. Yeah. The second time is when you're in that other space. I realized the whole bit with Rose with Shauna not being able to transform, it's just because if they didn't have that scene, then us, the player, would be like, why don't they just fucking turn into Dragoons and fly over the gap? It's 10 feet.
Yeah. And then you talk to Shauna.
So instead, they add an extra scene where she's like, why don't we just fucking turn into Dragoons and fly over? Because I'm not an idiot. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, oh, I can't. So then it's like, they literally just put that in there so people wouldn't bitch about it. Yeah. And then, okay, so things for me. So first of all, the item that does damage is called trans light.
Yes.
Light damage.
I'm the trans heavy.
Second thing is when you're at nighttime and you're going around the town, one of the NPCs says, "I'm not suspicious looking at all. I'm a regular citizen who just came out to feel the night breeze." Yeah. Like, wow, that sounds like someone who's not suspicious would say.
Yeah.
And then when you're in, I think, the mayor's house in the other town, it says, if you click on the bookshelf, it says, there are a lot of books about politics and economics. And I'm like, same, TBH.
Yeah, you said specifically, that's my house.
That's my house. Yeah, was my commentary on that. Also, after you fight the Virage, Rose says, "Is that Rancor against us? The Rancor against Dragoons awakening the Virage?" And that sentence 100% makes perfect sense if you just imagine Rancor as a noun, and that if you imagine Rancor is literally a Rancor monster. She's like, "Hey guys, is that Rancor against us?" And I'm like, "No, it's not a Rancor, it's a Virage." Yeah,
it's a mirage in which they turned the M upside down and removed one of the little G's.
Removed one of the lines, exactly. That's all I got as far as specific lines. Yeah, there's just so many nice little places. There's like 4 parts in this chapter where it's literally like, hey, let's all try to find the item. And then you get to control Dart, and you just go around and talk to everybody.
Yeah, I really love those parts.
Yeah, they're cute. Okay, I will say this game has a problem, and I noticed this problem last time, but it became a bigger problem this time. The game does that thing where NPCs have more than one line of dialogue, which I know that people who do that think that it makes the game better because it gives more verisimilitude to the world to have NPCs not repeat the same thing every time you talk to them. But it's actually annoying. You know why it's annoying?
Because you feel like you have to talk to them over and over and over.
Well, not just over and over. You have to talk to... If they have in lines of dialogue, you have to talk to them in +1 times.
Yeah.
Because you have to reach the point for them to repeat themselves. That way you know they're done. Yeah. But if you know going into the game that everyone will only ever have one line, then you talk to everyone one time.
Yeah.
Not even 2, just to check. No, just 1, if you have that consistency. Yeah. So most NPCs have a single line when you talk to them, and then a second line that they'll repeat after that point. Mm-hmm. And the reason that's annoying is not just because of what I just said, but because there's so many funny lines I want to screenshot. So I'll talk to someone, and then after I talk to them, I'll be like, wait a second, I should get a picture of that. And I go back and I talk to them, and they fucking say something different. So then I have to open up a Let's Play. Mm-hmm. Yes, the politics line from Undertale. Exactly. Yeah. Although luckily that line's really funny too.
Yeah, I was gonna say Undertale does that, but they pretty much set a precedent from the beginning that NPCs are only gonna say things after you 2 times. Yeah. And so you kind of get into the habit of talking to them twice.
I think in this game it's consistently 2, which is not as bad as the problem I was describing, but it still means that I keep missing good lines and then having to open up a Let's Play and fast forward to the line I wanted and screenshot it instead of just taking a picture right in the moment. Because I'm not playing the game like normal. I'm playing the game for this podcast and I want to get those screenshots, right? Ugh. Spoiler alert, if you ever play Xenosaga also does that, so...
Annoying. But one moment that I really loved was meeting Caffey in the cafe.
Caffey is great
because it's secretly a mini game where it's like, how do I trick her into telling me the stuff that I want and letting her talk about stars enough without her boss getting mad? And I failed it every single time because I'm like, oh well, obviously I want to talk about Lloyd, and she's like. A man? You're interested in a man more than stars? That's dumb. Come talk to me later.
Oh no, I made sure to cater to her interests.
I wanted her to be happy, so I was just always like, tell me more about
the stars. Yeah, tell me about star stuff, Carl Sagan. Yeah. I also think her name is short for caffeine because holy shit, that girl. Wow. She is wired.
She gets Davis's theme for this track. She's riding high on a positive rhythm.
She's really cute. I like her a lot. I also like how this game's finally switched to a new world map theme because the old one was fucking awful, and I forgot to bitch about it before, but it's awful. Yeah.
Disc 1 world map is bad. Disc 2 world map is good.
So interestingly, there's 2 distinct kinds of world map theme in game. Mm-hmm. This is an important piece of music in the game. Mm-hmm. Like in FF7, the world map theme is literally called main theme of Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
And in Final Fantasy VI, it's a variation of it's Terra's theme is the world map theme. And, so like there's big epic adventure themes, but then other games, the world map theme is traveling music. Mm-hmm. It's like, this is not a major theme of the game. This is supposed to sound like travel. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's what this game does. And that's how I in my heart, I knew they were going to switch on the disc switch. Yeah. I was like, this is such a low-key song. It's not that good. The only way this makes sense is if there are a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And thank God. And the second one's pretty good.
Yeah, and you had to have your war one for disc 1, and then you have your travel in a tropical paradise one for disc 2.
Yeah, this one's pretty nice. I mean, I never hear more than the first 5 seconds of it, but
Yeah. Because either you're going to a town or you're getting in a battle. Yep.
Yeah. I do like how this game, the whole, like, you have to go on a line thing for the world map. I like how that means you can have areas like the Barrens where it's a quote-unquote dungeon, but really it exists in order to be an intersection of the path.
Yeah.
It exists in order to make you go one direction or the other. And that wouldn't exist if you had an actual explorable world map.
Yeah.
And I actually like those areas. Yeah. I like those little waypoint dungeons. They're cute. That's like the second time that's happened.
I'm less... I like them less because it feels like kind of a waste of time when I have to backtrack.
Decent. Yeah.
Especially like when I was going back to Lohan, and I didn't know which way I was supposed to go, and
okay.
So and like having to go through the corrupted gravity area a second time was really tedious, and I kind of like got lost in there when I was coming back through. because I had to backtrack and I couldn't remember exactly which way I went.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
That was frustrating.
So while going through the whole game over the last week, there is a point in which when we finished the thing in Lohan, we're like, oh, it actually connects to Helena Prison, and we made a circle. This part of the game makes a circle towards the end of the game because you have to go back to Fletz, but instead of connecting to Donau or even to the Barrens or anything like that, it connects to the Land of Giganto. And so you go through that dungeon and Gravity and the Barrens and then go back to Fletz. God. And it's just the Let's Play I was doing, he's like, I'm not going to show this again. And it just cut to being back at Fletz.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, it's. I don't actually mind making you do it. I like games committing to that bit because this is a role-playing game. This is a game. It is not a movie. My favorite critic, Tim Rogers, once said that one of the he was talking about Gears of War, and he said in Gears of War sometimes you're just sitting there hiding behind cover for 20 seconds and nothing's happening. You're just sitting hiding behind cover, being scared, waiting for the bad guy to stop shooting. And he says one of the beautiful things about video games is that video games you play through the parts that movies would cut out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A movie would use editing to cut out the boring part, but a game, you are this character and you sit there and wait for the bad guys to stop shooting, or you do have to travel back, right? And so I like them committing to it. On the other hand, sometimes I'm like, come on, you could have it's whatever.
Yeah, if I didn't have a time budget, where I have to have a specific amount done in the week.
Yeah, that's true.
Because with this, that's my main reason if I get frustrated with how much we have to play is just that I have a specific amount of time that I can do it in, and I have to get it done by that time. And then if there's all these little distractions coming in, it's why I haven't been doing any side quests in these games. Because I'm just I don't have time for this. Yeah. I have to get through the main quest.
Also, let's be real here. We're not 10 years old anymore. We can't just sit there and play a video game for 10 billion hours because we don't have responsibilities.
Yeah, exactly.
And it sucks. I wish we fucking could.
I know. I would. Can I just be a millionaire and have servants and things like that who can do my bidding while I play video games? Please?
Yeah. Eli, no one should be a millionaire.
I know. No, trust me, I agree. I would like enough money to pay off my house and be comfortable, and then be able to give a lot of money to charity. That's essentially what.
Now, if we lived under full communism, the government could just tell us that this is our job. Actually, is making this podcast.
Okay, yeah, this is what I'm good at.
That would be okay. I'm trying to think if there's any other lines. I took way too many screenshots. I will say the one bit is Fester telling us about the Black Monster is a FMV, and we could hear Dart's voice acting not say Burning Rush for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's bad. It's
it is real
so
bad.
Fucking bad.
It's so good bad. Because Fester is what we really get is the spawning of destruction and fear that is the Black Monster. And Dart's response is, monster! And it's so bad.
As someone who semi-aspires to be a voice actor, it was really painful.
It's so bad.
Also, Eli brought this up in the chat, and I gotta agree. Fucking hate Haschel's voice.
Yeah.
It sucks ass. It's stupid. It's not just whether or not it sounds old or not. I also just think it sounds dumb.
It's just not. It's just not a good voice for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but oh well. I mean, all I ever hear him say is, what's his very first one?
Flurry of...
Double punch!
I've been hearing him say flurry of sticks, which is also... Okay, so flurry of sticks is misspelled on the fucking combat screen.
How's it spelled?
Ferry. Ferry.
Yeah, I don't...
That's hilarious.
So it says...
No, fairy. Right.
Yeah. But the actual
flurry.
attack is flurry of sticks. It said that in the additions menu, and that's what he calls out is flurry of sticks.
Okay, here's a question. How's it spelled?
STYX.
So I'm guessing two different translations.
So the sticks is spelled the same in both. But flurry, Flurry, in the addition menu, and what he says is ferry, Ferry, as in like a boat.
Want to know what's worse?
But like
In the
when you
com-
ferry,
comment.
that ferries people across the river Styx.
Right,
So which
but
of those
that's
is really
not
the
what
wrong
he's-
translation?
The wrong translation is ferry of Styx because he's saying flurry.
Also,
But what if whoever translated his voice lines translated?
Okay, well, I don't know.
No. So I'm just trying food for thought here.
Even more, when you unlock it on the level up screen, it is Fury of Styx.
Oh my
God.
seriously. So basically, 3 different translators got a hold of this. And one was like Fury, because fighting. And one person was like Flurry, because punching, like Flurry is a thing that you do when you're punching.
Mm-hmm.
And a third translator was like, no, Fairy, because it's a reference to mythology.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me actually see if I can find this in Japanese, because now I'm curious what the katakana is.
That's hilarious.
Legend of Dragoon, Haschel. Oh, God damn it.
Oh, there's also a good bit for while you're looking that up. So in the flashback where we see Lloyd saving Wink, he walks out and has his sword drawn, and Wink's like, "Sir, help me!" And Lloyd looks at him and he's like, "Continue what you're doing." And the bandits are like, "What? Okay." And he's like, "If you don't mind dying," and then he kills both of them.
Yeah. I like how that's the kind of line where like it's not actually a badass line, but like it is because he sells it.
Yeah, he sells it so good. But yeah. Let's see.
I can't find it.
Yeah,
The
when
wiki.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say the wiki for Legend of Dragoon doesn't have anything in Japanese.
Yeah.
It just has the English names, and I'm so annoyed. I guess I would have to look up like a Japanese Let's Play of it, but
Yeah. That's a lot.
yeah.
Maybe we can figure that out and give people an update next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do about that, because that's gonna bug the crap out of me, because it's something. It's got to be something about how because it must be in katakana in English where he says like Furori of Stixu or something like that.
Because if it was an actual like word, then they could just use the word.
Yeah.
That it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
there
you're right,
wouldn't
it's
be any
probably katakana.
reason for them to have 3 different words, because Fury, Flurry, and Fairy are all very, very different words and would not have the same kanji in Japanese.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Maybe Haschel just is trying to decide on a cool name for his move, and he can't
decide.
His workshop. He's doing A/B testing.
Yeah.
Seeing how people react, you know? Speaking of things being named, actually, I think it's really funny that when you go to the final sort of the dungeon of the bad guy Garrig's, the Gangrene Gang's lair, and it's called, like, on the world map, it's like Gigantos Fortress or something. And, like, there's no reason anybody would know that.
Yeah.
Like, until Kongol shows up, it's like the whole time I'm like, when is Kongol gonna show up?
Yeah.
Because it's called Gigantos Fortress, but like, there's no way. Like, it's not like there's a sign saying you're now entering Gigantos Fortress. And
welcome to Gigantos Fortress.
Actually, not to push up my glasses to be the resident Legend of Dragoon nerd. Well, actually,
no, I mean you are. So
yeah.
Please continue.
When you walk in. First, it's called Home of Giganto is actually the place, but Giganto is the species, not just Kongol, and there are dead Gigantos on the ground all over the place as the set dressing.
Oh, I think I just didn't notice because it's kind of low. Yeah. Low resolution.
Thinking back,
I did notice that there were giant things everywhere. Like at one point, so he's like, "What a giant barrel! I guess it would be normal size for a giant."
Yeah. But yeah. There's
I guess like once they get there, they're like, "Oh, yeah, this must be where giants live."
It's more like Grave of Giganto now.
Yeah.
Sorry, too soon.
Too soon. But, one final thing, unless y'all had other ones, but this was my final thing, is so when you actually meet Maru, the game goes out of its way to not sexualize Maru, and Maru doesn't like that. And it's
really as fuck.
Everyone is like,
the game is not acknowledging
you're a 15-year-old girl. Stay in your lane. And so when you first meet her, you hear, "Hey, you, Alki, how dare you touch my butt?" And the bandits are like, "Why would we touch the butt of a kid like you?" And she's like, "What'd you say? I'll only forgive you if you admit that I'm too sexy to ignore and apologize." And the bandits are like,
touched the butt.
The bandits are just like, "Wait, is this kid dreaming or what?" And it's great, and it doesn't ever stop.
She's like,
and that's pretty realistic. Like 15-year-olds, don't know that. Like actual 15-year-olds don't know that they shouldn't be sexualized.
Yeah.
Because they're going through puberty. They're having feelings. 15-year-old girls are a driving force of the pop music economy.
Yeah.
She's doing the thing where she's shaking her butt and going, "Feels like I'm wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all."
Yeah. But luckily, the game and none of the characters, like she said something about Dart, and Dart is, with Shauna, he's like, "I'm 12 and what is this?"
Uh-huh.
With her, he like doesn't even respond.
Yeah.
He's like zero.
He's just like, "All right, not touching that, not touching any part of that."
Yeah, it's good. She's great. Every single sentence of hers ends in either an exclamation point, 2 exclamation points, or an interrobang. And
she's a very good Yuffie.
It's so good.
I wish she could ever be in my party, because the thing is, this game does a really nice thing where anytime someone new joins your party, they join at a higher level than anybody else, which is convenient because it's not frustrating or annoying to have them under level. But due to my party is always Shauna plus whoever's the lowest level rule, I have yet to use her or Kongal a single time.
Yeah. But she's great. She's super fast, and whenever you get her a Dragoon spirit, she's another healer, and that's dope.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm sure there was something else funny. I can use this as I planned it. Be like, share us your favorite lines in our Discord or at our email at rpgbookclub@gmail.com. But
nice segue.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm not that good, so I'm going to continue to just read my spiel that I wrote 10 years ago. But yeah, if you like what we do here, let us know. You can reach us, like I said, at rpgbookclub@gmail.com, on Twitter at rpgbookclub, or in our Discord, which does have a link in the description. And if you really like what we do here, you can help us pay for it all by donating to our Patreon at patreon.com/rpgbookclub, or by getting some merch from our store at shop.spreadshirt.com/rpgbookclub. I'm working on recreating the Legend of Dragoon text box so that it'll be a subtle citation on the thing, to just have like a "Ugh, I am vexed" shirt to be in the Legend of Dragoon text box. I'm working on that. We'll go up soonish. And
I want an "Are you seducing me" shirt.
Yeah, and are you seducing me is a good one. Probably going to have a lot of Legend of Dragoon ones. I should just make that like a recurring thing. I just recreate the text box from the game that we're playing and put in lines from it. But
and you could put the RPG Book Club logo on the back or something.
Yeah, on the back.
Yeah, pretty simple.
Like a little line underneath it, just like under the text box, real small. Whatever.
Can we get a "I'm ready for your fist, master" shirt?
Yes.
Probably shouldn't do.
We probably shouldn't. It might get our shop taken down. But yeah, next week we will play the second part of Chapter 2, and we'll be stopping when we switch discs. It is a little bit beefy, but this whole disc is only like 8 hours long, so it's beefy compared to this really short we had this week, but compared to like everything, it's not super long at all. This next part has like most of my favorite like parts of the game, and it's super exciting, and I'm excited for you to do it. But for RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I've been Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
And I've been Maddie Spiffle-Webben.
Toodaloo!
Bye. Love you.
I'm ready to receive your fist, master.